Some of the biggest and most productive farmers in the country will gather this week in Chicago for the annual Top Producer Seminar. Each year, our cousins at Top Producer Magazine select a Top Producer of the Year. During the next 3 days, we'll showcase these growers. The finalists for this year's top honor are John Carroll of Carthage, Illinois, Luke Brubaker from Mount Joy, Pennsylvania, and Dave Nelson of Fort Dodge, Iowa. All three are great candidates, and they're all uniquely different. This morning, we begin with the profile of John Carroll and Carroll Farms, a young man who found a way to stay in agriculture, although not on Illinois soil. Carthage, Illinois, established 1837. Just outside and nearly touching town is the Carroll family farm, fertile ground, waiting patiently for springtime planting. John Carroll is also waiting, only he's closer to harvest than to planting.
But actually this year, because of the commodity prices, we're about 14,000 acres of soybeans, 6,000 of corn, and 10,000 of cotton.
But you won't find cotton or his fields in Illinois. His farm is more than 4,750 miles to the south in Brazil. His journey began in college. Farming was his passion, and while there was room for him in the family operation in Carthage, he knew working next to his grandfather, father, and uncle while trying to get established would be challenging.
Coming out of college, I don't think most kids here in the U.S. have the amount of money to buy in any significant way and make it, unless their parents are going to give them something.
Instead, the family pooled resources and bought 4,400 acres in Brazil back in 2002.
We graduated, got married, moved to Brazil all in about 30-day time frame. We did our honeymoon in Brazil, took a bus to the farm.
Farming was the only familiar part.
The difference is not operational. That's the easy part of it.
In just a few short years, the farm grew from its original size to 30,000 acres.
Operating returns, taking out land costs about the same amongst both places, but the competitive advantage here is that the availability of land, if you want to get bigger, it's just no problem.
In this part of Brazil, everything is bigger. That 30,000 acres is in 5 fields, each stretching for roughly 7 miles.
It's amazing to think here, 7 miles, we can go through about 3 different towns.
He also had to transition from farmer to manager. To support the cotton business, the farm bought a cotton gin. Today, the entire operation employs 150 people.
My skill set now is in, creating this organization that can farm a lot of ground in an efficient and profitable way.
While the farm itself has been a transition, one of the biggest changes is the mindset required to live and work in the Brazilian culture.
Everything happens very slow, except they all tell you it's going to be very fast, but there's really no intention of it ever being fast.
From fighting against bribery and extortion to hiring employees dedicated to managing a constant barrage of government audits.
You can't even fathom how much more involvement the government will have in your life if you move to Brazil.
To the simple things like running an errand.
We have people hired to go stand in line at the bank and the courthouse to get things done.
The last decade has been an adventure. From Carthage to Brazil and back again, this American farmer has found a way to succeed on foreign soil. Great story there. Tomorrow we're headed to Pennsylvania to meet our second finalist. Coming up after a quick break, are kids actually eating the healthy foods schools are serving? Food in Your Family is next.